Imagine Sun City is like the super center, right?
Yeah.
So we have an abundance of amenities. We have, at Sun City, we have 3 golf courses, 6 pools, 2 more on the way. So you're looking at a ton of amenities.
It's the smallest and most quaint section we've ever built, but it's going to have access to this brand new amenity center. So it's going to be the biggest amenity center we've ever done. And it's 1,400 homes, so it'll be a relatively quick build in a more quaint section.
Yeah. Well, let's dive a little deeper into that. Let's start from the beginning. Say somebody is coming in for the first time. I know that you guys offer an Explore Del Webb program.
Welcome to Real Talk Hilton Head. Today, we're going to be digging deep and highlighting one of the most incredible lifestyle communities we have, Sun City Hilton Head.
This community may be one of the most premier 55 plus active adult communities in the country.
Yeah, I agree. It's one of my favorites. So join us with our 2 subject matter insider experts as we uncover everything from the brand new $45 million amenity center, which is amazing, to the hundreds of social clubs, 3 golf courses, restaurants, so much more.
We're going to give you the inside scoop on building a new home and making the most out of this vibrant resort-style community.
So enjoy the show.
Welcome to Real Talk Hilton Head with David and Dale Cross, the real estate lifestyle podcast of Coastal Carolina.
Join us as we share stories from our community, insight into the local lifestyle, and the real scoop on real estate.
From market trends to home design, we dive deep into what it means to live and thrive here.
Discover the state of mind and philosophy of the Lowcountry that enriches life through personal growth, health and wellness, and human connection.
Whether you're a local or thinking of becoming one, we're here to guide you through the ins and outs of living this coastal escape.
Tune in, relax, and enjoy the conversation with Real Talk Hilton Head,
the podcast of Coastal Carolina.
This episode is brought to you by the David Dale team, powered by eXp Realty in Hilton Head.
All right, well, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, it's our pleasure.
Like I said, I'm super excited to have you guys on. This is such a treat for us. I mean, David pretty much lives out in your community, and I can't wait to share it, with everybody.
Actually, every time I drive by Sun City when we leave, because we got to play baseball and stuff out in Rincon and Effingham County, every time we drive by with the boys, we're always like, thank you, Sun City.
We do all the time. Thank you.
If it wasn't for Sun City, that's been one of our best communities. It's been we just love the people. We love everything about the lifestyle out there. So we're excited to share that with everybody.
We're excited.
That's true. When you drive down 278, so many people that have been coming to the island for years. It's almost like the Statue of Liberty when you're headed to the city. It's like, there it is.
It's
an application size.
Yeah.
Palm trees. Yeah. So,
and now it's even farther, right?
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
That's right.
Sun City West.
Yeah.
So
We're going to start talking about that, but let's just start with you guys. Maureen, will you start? Share a little bit of your background. What brought you here?
Yeah. So I was born and raised right outside of Manhattan in a little city called Bayonne, little 1 by 2 mile city right outside of New York. So great growing up. Was there until I was 7th grade. My dad got transferred to Houston, Texas. He worked for Exxon. So I did 7th grade through 11 in Houston.
Oh, wow.
Then back to New Jersey to Bayonne for 1 year. So 7th grade and then senior year. Very transitional.
Yes.
And then I went to college in Pennsylvania, went back to New Jersey and became a teacher for 8 years. So I have my preschool certification, K to 8, K to 12 art, and my principal certificate.
So you're going to be a
Preschool comes in
teacher.
handy in your life.
A lot of hand holding, a lot of patience. It's true.
Just kidding.
Just kidding.
But not.
But I ended up marrying a police officer who happened to work nights and weekends and holidays. So after we got married, I got my real estate license in 2005 and transitioned from teaching to full-time real estate.
Okay. And that was in New Jersey?
In New Jersey.
Okay.
Yep, at the Jersey Shore, Monmouth County.
Yeah.
And I really got my start in bank-owned sales. So I was licensed in 2005, but 2008, everybody knows what happened.
Yes.
Mhm.
So I got 9 listings in one day.
Wow.
Incredible. But I had needed some help. So I've partnered up with another woman named Erin Kavanaugh, and we grew our team to 4 women and ended up being, I sold for 17 years overall.
Wow.
And then we came on vacation to Sea Pines and said, we don't ever want to leave.
Like most people,
That's
right?
us. That's exactly
our
what happened.
story.
Yeah, we were actually on vacation for Easter, went down to the Calhoun Street dock, and my husband and I looked at each other and said, what are we doing? We just need to make this happen. Call my realtor that I was working with here, bought the lot, And the rest is history. Here we are.
I mean,
Oh my
literally,
goodness.
have you heard our story? I mean, it's exactly pretty much the same thing. I mean, in a pool, we looked at each other and said, why are we not living here? It's the exact same thing. Sold our house, moved.
We went
moved
back.
here.
That was like on a,
Yeah.
I don't know, like 3 or 4 days, and we went back, and by the following week, our house was on the market
Yeah.
in Charlotte. We're like,
It
we're
just
done.
kind of does
Yeah.
that to you. Hey.
It is. It's like hypnotizing.
Yeah.
But you do. It makes you say, I can be living such a better life in this place. And I honestly, when I would go into, like, I went into the community we bought in, and I couldn't believe that people got to do that every day.
Right.
Like, I did it for a week, and I saved and saved to go on a vacation.
Yeah.
Where this is part of your everyday mental state as well, which I think is huge.
That's huge. That was a
Mhm.
big deal.
It's
for
actually,
us.
that's part
Yeah.
of the theme of the show is
Yeah.
to highlight that it's the quality of life. You know, it's not just moving here to get a house, and it is where real estate meets lifestyle, but that the lifestyle aspect, which is why with the show we do the wellness, you know, episode, which you're
Right.
familiar with, and things like that. That something about the area draws you into a different way to live,
Yeah.
a way to
And
see
it
life.
shows you don't have to do the normal 9 to 5, you know, going into somewhere, coming home, hating it. You know, you
Right.
can
Tuck
actually
yourself away at
Exactly.
4:30 because it's dark and gray and snowy or whatever your
Yeah.
environment is. But
Yeah.
and
I mean,
save
we
up
always
for
tell
it.
people the house is the bonus.
Yes.
Yes.
The community
That's-
and the lifestyle is what you're buying.
That's
It's how we build beautiful homes. There's beautiful homes all throughout the island and Bluffton, Beaufort area, but it's really the lifestyle. That's
Yeah.
what you're looking at.
that's awesome.
You know
Oh,
what? Real quick,
okay.
I forgot. I jumped in. We didn't introduce that you are both sales representatives for Pulte Home.
Well,
did not go in there.
it'll pop up
It'll
on the
come up,
screen.
yeah.
You've already seen it if you made it this far.
We just jumped into you,
But
but
it's Jared Gibbons,
Yeah.
Maureen Gilroy, both new sales. What do you call? Is it new sales
Consultants
For
Del Webb.
for Del
Sun
Webb,
City, yeah.
Sun City. So yeah, there you have it.
There you go.
Good job
little,
on that.
little ad lib.
That's what I
there.
love about podcasts because there's no such thing as messing up.
So, Jared, will you tell us a little bit about you?
Yeah, of course. Thanks again for having me. And again, I'm Jared Gibbons with Del Webb Sun City. Not quite so much pull the ripcord like the two of you did, but I'm from a small town called Marion, Illinois, that's a couple miles away from Carbondale, which, if you're familiar with the state of Illinois, it's just outside of Southern Illinois University.
Okay.
So, of course, that's where I ended up doing my first couple of years of school. I have a cousin that lives down here in Savannah, so just traveling down and spending the summers down here in a little bit more of a tropical climate. I did a number of different trade type work, whether it's drywall or roofing, different things like that, because the goal was to spend the summers on the beach and go home with my pockets full of cash, let's say, and go to college. But very similar, the lifestyle, it really kind of draws you in. So I finished my last couple of years at University of South Carolina, Beaufort.
Okay.
Okay.
And now I've been here 18 years.
Never went back to Illinois.
Yeah, it's fun. Small town in Illinois, really fell in love with this place. I met my wife here. I now got 2 children, 4 and 7 years old, and South Carolina is all they know. So really enjoying it.
Southern.
So how did you transition into real estate sales then?
Yeah, a close friend, actually. So I've been in sales of all different types, but a lot of the trade work that I did initially led my interest. I've never been in general real estate, but I've now been with the builder for about 8 years. So I like to think I know it pretty well, but I've been in sales for many, many years before.
Okay, so you never did general brokerage then. You did that in New Jersey then.
17 years.
Okay, so you've seen both sides of the coin. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I do want to talk about that because a lot of people, it's not an adversarial relationship that we have, where
Not at all.
it's actually much more cooperative. And one of the things I also want to talk about too with people is they think, with builders sometimes, like with the contracts, very little room to move the builder on their contract, right?
That's right.
It's much easier in a private resale than it is, but we'll dive into that in a bit.
Yep.
So okay, so you got in. So what sort of drew you into the builder sales? Was it just, hey, I stumbled on the job, or how did you find Pulte, or how did they find you?
Yeah, so I've always been the type of person that I want to sell something with value and something that changes people's lives. So I've done a number of different sales careers, but I won't bore you with. But a close friend had basically recommended me, said you would be a perfect fit for this. And so when I interviewed, Carter Fawcett, our general sales manager, thought the same. So, but like I said, a lot of my background really helped me, both sales as well as trade work, really have this to be a fit. So
Okay. Did you find you had to adjust to the 55 plus concept? Was it all to get into that mindset and understanding where they're coming from?
Well, so I guess to maybe tell a little bit more of my story, when I first started here, a lot of times when you're first coming on with Pulte Group, who is the conglomerate that owns Del Webb, they've got a number of single family communities that are all represented under the same brand. So the Syntex brand is our first time home buyer.
Okay.
Pulte Homes are like a move up buyer, for typically not your first time home buyers. And then Del Webb is our active adult. So it's specifically those age restricted that are, they've already worked the job and had the kids and are looking for more of that lifestyle aspect. I've had the pleasure of representing all the different dynamics. So first time home buyers, move up buyers. So Del Webb is not where I started. Yes, it is an adjustment to obviously put yourselves in their shoes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a blessing for sure.
Wow.
So,
Well, that's really neat. I didn't realize that there were 3 aspects to the Pulte.
Yeah, actually, even
conglomerate.
more than that, there's DeVasta and John Whelan too. There's a luxury product. So Pulte has different brands for all different types of buyers.
Wow,
That's great.
that's
Yeah.
awesome.
That's it. Now, are they within the Beaufort County area? How many of those brands are actively have communities?
So you have Malin Bluff.
That's your
Midpo-
Pulte brand?
That's Pulte.
Yeah.
Midpoint just opened. That's a Pulte brand.
Okay.
Obviously, Sun City, which is the Del Webb. The Haven is also a Del Webb
Webb,
that's already sold out. What am I missing?
Well, before that, Shadow Moss was the
Mhm.
big community in Beaufort
Okay.
it sold over, I don't know, 10, 15 years, something like that. And it served a lot of the military buyers out there in Beaufort.
Okay.
The Malin Bluff community has got it takes a lot of the floor plans from the Syntex brand as well. But as
Yeah.
of right now, we don't have an active Syntex community in the Lowcountry.
Okay.
And
So,
Salem Bay too. Forgot about that.
yeah, Salem Bay, I've
In
seen
Beaufort,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, we don't, yeah. Okay, yeah.
That's Pulte.
All right, well, that's pretty
That's
cool.
really neat.
Yeah.
Are you thinking about making a move to the Lowcountry?
Whether you're searching for the perfect home or you're exploring vibrant communities on the coast or dreaming of a new lifestyle, we're here to help.
Contact the David Dale team today and let's make your dream a reality.
So let's talk a little bit about Sun City, right? Can we start with how big is Sun City? How many homes?
Yep.
Fine.
So existing 9,500 homes and 1,500 more coming in the new Sun City West section.
So 9,500 between Common, Riverbend, and North.
That's correct.
Okay. So I call them, what do you guys call them? I call them campuses.
Campuses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good word.
Same thing. So for those who've never been in it, because it's, they hear 9,500 homes, right? Compared to say the Haven, which is what, probably 460, 470, something like that.
Right.
Break it down so that it's less overwhelming when you hear 9,500 homes and the personality, because they're all very, very different campuses.
Right. And you don't want to overwhelm people. But at the same time, Sun City, that branding on a Del Webb. So we should talk about that.
Okay.
There's the
Yeah.
Haven is a Del Webb, right? So
Yeah.
that's still a 55 and over active lifestyle community. But typically you're going to find maybe one community house, one swimming pool, not a
Okay.
ton of amenities.
So it's a smaller.
Exactly.
smaller,
What
more
about
intimate.
activities coordinators? Do you have a director?
They usually have somebody as well, but it's not going to be to the extent of like a Sun City. Imagine Sun City is like the super center, right?
Okay.
So we have an abundance of amenities. We have, at Sun City, we have 3 golf courses, 6 pools, 2 more on the way. So you're looking at a ton of amenities. So sometimes the overwhelmingness of the sheer number of homes, you have to help them understand that the reason why is because we have so much to offer,
Right.
right? And we also have so many options that there's not this overcrowdedness to it.
Yeah.
We're constantly adding more so that way we can give more to the purchasers.
How many acres is it spread over total? Do you know? Do you have-
Believe that between the river bend, the north side, and the south side, it was 5,900 acres.
Okay.
Not exactly sure of what the new west section covers, but I would say somewhere over 6,000 acres, something like that.
So, go ahead.
sorry. So when we talk about personalities of each of these sections, let's break them down into sections. So South Side what is that compared to say the North Side? What is personality?
Yeah, how do you?
difference?
Yeah, that's good. That's a great question. What distinguishes
See, I
them?
can come up with good.
You come up with great questions.
See that?
You see?
I think you come up with great questions.
Right, that's a good, they do have different feel for them, right? So the South Side started 1995. So you have, extremely established neighborhoods, lush landscaping, which everyone loves. You have 2 championship golf courses there, 2 restaurants on site. where the north side is newer, maybe a little bit newer amenity center,
So
style of home.
each has its own amenity center. So south has one and north has one. So as you build those neighborhoods, you're putting new amenities.
Right, to accommodate.
That's why it's not overcrowded.
Exactly.
Okay, so sorry to interrupt you.
No, that's okay. So I think some of it has to do with the amenities that are present in each section. So like the softball field's in the south side, the woodworking shop is down there.
Okay.
But just because you live on one campus or the other, all the amenities are shared. So you can really, benefit from all the different options that you have. And then, Sun City West, it is definitely, a very, very special neighborhood. Has a really great modern feel. $50 million amenity center under construction now. So I think that that's also bringing in a different demographic. You can build new with us at 50, which is huge.
So they changed the age limit?
For building new. Rentals and resales are going to be 55 and over,
Okay.
but 50 to build new. So
And that's in the whole community, not just in
Right, well,
West.
so only building in Sun City West.
West. Okay, because you've built out in the others. Yeah.
But at one point in time, you could have been 50 years old to purchase new construction. That would have rang true for even the south side, even years
Okay.
ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got you.
But in terms of part of the personality, Pulte Group and Del Webb are always trying our best to answer the customers and meet them where they're at. So I would say that the new section's got a lot of exclusivity. So you have the client that is interested in something that's a little bit more quaint. The new West section is going to give you all the access to everything existing with something a little bit more secure and quaint, quite honestly. You've got a brand new bridge that's going to give you access to everything that's
And
currently
they're
existing.
coming along with. I saw that today.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was one of the big pieces of feedback that we took from the South Side is that it's 7,000 homes. And unfortunately, there's only 3 entrances and exits, which can get bogged down from time to time. So when we built the north side, we did 6 entrances and exits. And then the big drawback was that the landscape was a little bit more stripped as you come through the main entrance. So you'll notice the Sun City West section it's the smallest and most quaint section we've ever built, but it's going to have access to this new brand new amenity center. So it's going to be the biggest amenity center we've ever done. And it's 1,400 homes. So it'll be a relatively quick build in a more quaint section. So.
Yeah. And I think what I appreciate too is the floor plan difference. It's fascinating.
That
I
was
was
my
out
question.
today actually and showing houses from 1998, 2000, 2003. She has in floor plans I've never been in before. Like a Hatteras, I'd never actually been in one, and then you see the difference how these are modern floor plans.
Yeah.
This is what the current buyers, and it's fascinating to see a 25, 30-year history of how they design the flow of these homes.
Yeah.
And it really is like a think tank. If you go to visit home office in Atlanta, where Pulte Group is based, it's a consumer-inspired company. So they survey to say, what do you want, Del Webb buyer? What are you looking for in a community? What are you looking for in a floor plan? Well, I'd really like a place to hang up my purse and sit down and put my shoes on. So we added that drop zone area in the mudroom. The new section has sidewalks on every street. That was feedback that Pulte got. So they really do listen to what the current purchaser is looking for in a home, and that consumer inspired experience all the way through, walking in the front door of your home to where am I going to sit in a cabana under because I want to be at the pool, but I want to be covered because I'm nervous about sun protection. So
Right.
Mm-hmm.
all of that is considered. So the buyer is really the main consideration for Pulte.
Wow.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. So now Argent, that's the other neighborhood, right?
Well, that's
Argent
West. They
Oh, so
call it
that
West.
is West. Okay,
Yeah.
so Argent West is what you're calling West.
Sun City West.
Okay, perfect.
So just
Sorry,
to break
I'm
this
learning
down for the audience as well,
Right.
we are the
Yeah,
David Dale team. Dale does operation.
Operation
I'm field guy.
Run.
So
She's testing him.
that's why somebody.
You answered the call.
Yeah,
Good
it's
job.
hard stuff. Yeah. It's okay because this is, I'm the one that's out there and
Yeah.
soon to be Hunter,
Yes.
who you guys can't see right now, but you will soon.
We'll see.
Well, it's worth noting there was actually some marketing materials that came out in the early infancy phase before we released this that called it East Argent.
Yeah.
But that's the tract of land that we purchased before we kind of built it. But that video was brought out to tell our current residents, like, hey, this is how we're expanding. This is how we're doing more to try to meet you where you're at.
Yeah.
It was called the East Argent tract, but we're calling it for marketing materials. We're calling it Sun City West. So it's not your fault.
It's most of you guys,
Right.
but we would say East Argent, and they're like, "What?" Well, it was the furthest eastern part of the Argent tract. And it's like
Too much info.
Right.
Exactly.
So I like it. So it's Sun City West.
That's it. Yep.
That sounds cool.
So now one thing is kind of random, but It's golf cart friendly, right?
Mhm.
All right, that's a question we get all the time. This
And most
community.
importantly, interconnected.
Yes.
That's
When you were
right.
talking bridges, that's what I wanted to talk
Yeah.
about.
So to your point, is you outside of Riverbend,
Yeah.
you can get anywhere in it and never leave the gates, really.
Really,
Because
really.
you're going over the bridges and you're staying within it.
That's right.
And you got access. I mean, now let's dive into a little bit. What do you know about the new Argent Loop that's going in to connect Oldfield, 170 down to Argent? Is there, potential for you guys to continue? Because I know there's some growth out that way. Is there even talks of that?
I think there's a significant amount of land generally in this area.
Mhm.
So right now, what we're offering, what we're, advertising and showing is what the developer owns.
Yeah.
But I mean, at some point in the future, could that happen? I don't have a crystal ball,
Okay.
right? But yeah.
What do you know about that loop? Anything you heard about what's
Isn't
coming?
Costco coming?
Well, I've heard everything, and I think I don't know if it's hopium or if it's actual. Yeah. So but I just know that that's going to change the whole landscape out there. But I also think it's going to make it convenient because there's going to be a lot of amenities in that new section.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be right outside the gate. You can pop in, pop out. Right, it's going to be great.
Yeah, and there's going to be some commercial space in front of Sun City West that we don't know who the retail or who the lessees are going to be, but typical of Sun City amenities. So if I had to guess, probably a dry cleaner, drugstore, coffee shop type of situation. So I think that the general area, the infrastructure is fantastic, and it just keeps getting better and better. And that Oldfield, that Argent Loop, you have other builders that are coming in there as well.
Yeah.
So consideration for those people is definitely.
And I've heard right up, where the exit is by Riverton Point. I hear right up that road there, they're going to build a big new city park with like walking trails and all that stuff too.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And YMCA, I believe,
yeah,
is
it's
also.
going to be over there.
Sounds
Not
great.
that they would need one when they see what
They're
you
nice,
have.
yeah,
exactly.
Right. YMCA.
Going back to the stores and everything is accessed by golf cart, right? So you can go out of Sun City gates itself. And
Yep,
are
we'll
they
talk
how
about
far
that.
are the grocery stores, the pharmacies?
Yeah.
Are they?
So there's currently 14 restaurants that are accessible by golf cart. The new Sun City West section has got some additional retail space that's just outside. As of today's date, it's not golf cart accessible, but as of today, there are 14 restaurants, grocery store, banks, hair and nail salons. There's dentist, doctor,
Okay, it's all by golf
UPS,
cart,
all
eh?
that's golf cart
Pharmacy.
accessible.
Pharmacy. Yeah.
Yep. As well as there's now a new dog care facility that's just outside on the north side of 278, which has been a real smash hit.
Yeah.
You can board your dog, have them clean,
Seen that.
veterinary services, all that at the same place. So
Yeah.
it's really, really cool for sure. Yeah. All your conveniences are right there close.
So where is that new strip going to be actually? So where they is it by where they're putting the bridge? Is that going to be where the retail is going to be outside there?
That's where it appears to be,
Okay.
right outside.
Yeah.
That's all zoned commercial along Argent.
Oh, wow. I
Mhm.
didn't know that was going to be commercial in
Yeah.
there. Okay. Do you know what the timeline on that is? No, because it's not had nothing to do with you.
Still pine trees.
All right. Yeah. So,
Sorry, so in this new section, you said there's 1,400 houses new. Have you just started in there, or how long do you have? What's the build out expected?
So November of 22 is when we started selling, right?
Okay.
And then that section.
wow, it's been that long already. Yeah,
Mhm.
2 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep, November of 22. And, anticipatory, I would say maybe 4 to 5 years,
Okay.
based on our build cycle. Would you
Yeah.
agree?
And the other cool thing is, for your customers that are looking to come into a community, there's already 200 to 400 homeowners already living in that section. So that 2 years of build time frame, there's already people walking the dogs and watching the amenity center go vertical. So it's
We have
definitely a
several
sight to see.
that they're in there and they love it over there.
Now that I know the right names.
So that's 200 a year though.
That's a lot.
That's-
200 to 250 if we stay on pace of
Is
what
that-
we've done previously.
Wow.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
And it's
impressive.
real. When people come in and ask us, very popular question is, how long is it going to take for you to build my house? So right now, contract to close, signing a contract, it's about 5 to 9 months.
Yeah.
So very, very, on target for sure.
So
Eh,
go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I just say on that point, because people are always asking, it's never our job to choose, right? Like,
Yeah.
where should you live? Who should you build with? But I will say this. one of my favorite is building with Pulte, because I just feel like your process, some have it dialed in. Like there's great builders, I get it, I'm not a dog on them, but I mean, for a production builder, the quality you get and the sort of predictability, you're steady Eddie. Your process is your process. You don't kind of deviate. You stay who you are all the time, and it is one of the best processes. And you're right, because the build times in some are still.
Or it's a big question mark, and which is really hard for this 55 and over buyer, because they might have to sell their eggs at home, or they're trying to line it up with retirement, or how do I get there? I haven't moved in 35 years.
Right.
So it's kind of a challenge where with our build quality experience, we are very orderly and all about even flow. So I think that, we do a really great job of communicating that throughout the entire process, not just the sales, not just design, not just construction.
Yeah.
It's from contract to close that we're with you. And then even after that with warranty.
Yeah.
Well, let's dive a little deeper into that. Let's start from the beginning. Say somebody is coming in for the first time. I know that you guys offer an Explore Del Webb program. Would you kind of talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, pretend like somebody's never been here. They're coming into the Explore Del Web. Let's go.
And then they fall in love with it. They go into contract, give us the whole process.
Yeah. So we recognize that our primary buying client is coming from a place that they've probably been for some time. So we offer an experience that allows the customer to stay on site and utilize all the amenities. We call it Explore Del Web.
Okay.
That package includes a full tour of all of the amenities, and then you have access to use everything while you're here. While you're here, we're here for you also to help you map out your experience if you decide that you want to build new construction. It's a great 4-day, 3-night experience.
So that's what it is.
So that you have a chance to really try it before you buy it, is really the thought process on things.
And
So do they stay in a house?
Yes, it's a new construction dwelling. They're some of our most popular plans. We typically kind of redo them every couple of years to make sure that they're, the most popular and what's on trend.
Yeah.
And
do they get a golf cart with it?
Yes.
Yeah, so golf carts you use during their stay. They can utilize the on-site restaurants. If you want to play around a golf, you can go ahead and make a tee time. You want to try pickleball, you can go do that. So to
So
Jared's
they can
point,
play.
yeah,
They can literally use
it's like
the
test driving the
amenities.
community.
and
That's
they can they cook in the houses?
Oh yeah, it's just like an Airbnb, like a beautiful Airbnb.
Really?
Coffee machine, hair dryer, towels. Yeah, it's like you're staying. It's like a vacation. But
Okay.
it's really a good way to say, okay, if I'm sitting here on this couch having my cup of coffee, this is what it's going to feel like to live here.
Okay.
So that's kind of an incredible experience before you purchase a home that a lot of people don't get to do.
No,
And there's no pressure. I mean, how many times do you walk into a house? And I've said this to David every time we buy our own houses. Okay, I get 15 minutes to sit.
Right.
And one of the biggest purchases of my life, I'm making in 15 minutes. I mean, that's difficult. So the fact that they can stay and do that is super helpful and get a flow of the floor plan. And
Are they allowed to bring friends with them or family?
If they're buying.
Huh? Yeah. Well, usually it's the support, right?
Yeah.
The daughter's coming, the son's
Sure.
coming.
Yeah.
Somebody's coming with them because they need some. But are they allowed to have somebody stay with them?
Yeah, so they're all 2-bedroom homes,
Okay.
2 full baths. So if that's something that, it's another couple, we can open up that second bedroom for a small fee, but it is a 2-seater golf cart. So
Okay.
if you and your best friend couples, usually we recommend, doing the 2
Two
homes. So
different
that
ones.
way, you can utilize the golf cart for the 2 people there.
Okay.
what about furry friends? Are they
Yeah,
allowed to bring
pets
them
allowed?
along?
Unfortunately not.
No, furry friends.
pets.
Okay.
Wah, wah, wah.
They can go to Pet Paradise.
Yeah.
That's
That's right. Well, that's true. It's right. It's a good point, though. So actually, that's a really good point. If you want to bring your pets, put them at Pet Paradise so you can still take them, go down to the beach. Because obviously we're very dog friendly around here.
Yeah.
All the restaurants are dog friendly, so that's
Right.
not a bad idea.
And some of the hotels allow pets, and then could do a day situation at the doggy daycare, and then we can also do a VIP pass, a day pass. So if you're staying at the Hampton Inn or one of those other local hotels and reach out to sales, we can work with the purchaser to still give them the experience of the pickleball.
So they could try the amenities.
Exactly.
Just go and have the golf cart and the house.
And just to be clear, this is not one of those like, hey, I'm going to Myrtle Beach and I get the free aquarium tickets, but I've got to beat you off because you're just going to make me buy, like that is not what this
This is
experience
not
is.
timeshare. This is not it's truly about the customer, wanting to experience the community, certainly with the intention of considering new construction. Because if you absolutely aren't considering new construction, why would you want to spend time with me building a house on paper or walking lots? So that is definitely part of the process with us. It's just not a good use of your time. If you want to go on vacation, there's plenty of Airbnbs on the island.
That's true.
Yeah,
do that instead.
Yeah, that's a great point, Maureen, because, again, that's the one thing we're also not, it's not built to just be a 3-day getaway. It's
Stay.
definitely not a timeshare by any means. But we only offer the Explore Del Webb to clients once. So it's a great opportunity if you're in the area, if you're in Hilton Head, come check us out, just see what the thing looks like.
Right.
And it's a really great opportunity to come back and really dive in and understand if this is for you, right? That's really what the program's about.
Yeah. So take us through then. So, because I've done this with you dozens of times, but for someone who hasn't, usually you have like a resident ambassador, right? They meet with them, kind of, they're somebody. So let's kind of break it down. So I'll let you explain it.
So you check in.
Yeah, check-in on a Friday or a Monday. About $599 typically is the cost for the stay. Check in on Friday, let's just say Friday afternoon between 1 and 4. Saturday morning, you wake up, 9 o'clock, you're going to have a full tour with the resident ambassador.
Okay.
And then typically that Saturday afternoon, you would meet with one of the sales consultants and kind of go over the process. And then the rest is really up to you as the purchaser or potential purchaser. If you think this is, something you want to do, then mostly we see people coming back to the models and looking again, taking pictures, sitting on the furniture. And if it's not for you, then it's usually evident pretty quickly. Yeah.
And so let's break it down too for somebody with the new sales construction. I always tell them that to come up with the price, because that's all. How much does this cost? I'm walking in the Renown. I love it. What's this going to cost me? Right? Probably more than you want to spend, but hey, sorry, just kidding, guys. But what I love and appreciate about what you do in your system is when you do sit down and build a house. So let's break that down and how you guys do that. Yeah. Somebody's interested, they sit with you.
Yeah.
Are you thinking of selling your home?
With our exclusive Elevate package, we combine over 50 years of experience, cutting-edge data analytics, our unique marketing strategies, and our extensive network to help your home rise above the rest,
while maximizing your sales price and minimizing the time on the market.
So contact the David Dale team today to learn more.
Yeah, so the 3 pieces to the puzzle, as I like to say, is going to be your base price, plus the home site or land that you put the home on, and any features that you add. So the features, that's an added piece. You don't have to add customization. We have what we call an included feature sheet that tells you everything that comes beautifully designed in the home. But realistically and honestly, most people do some level of customization and upgrading in their home.
Okay.
Whether that's paint or hardwood or countertops. A quick example I like to give is, granite would be your standard countertop, which is a beautifully done countertop. But a lot of people like to upgrade to quartz nowadays, right?
Yeah,
so we
sure.
would walk you through what those optional features would be. We would take you out to the home sites that you could put on the home. And most people, 20 to 30% above the base price usually gets people roughly where most customers end up landing with the total cost of their home.
Okay. So you actually can sit down though on your, because this is what I love. You sit down, you have the computer, they're there, you're there. Hey, what do you think about this? So, what kind of flooring would you want? What kind of countertop?
Samples that they can see right then and there, or is that in the design?
A design center, which is that's kind of the part 2. But
we won't.
To David's point, it's an amazing program that we can, Pulte Home Designer, that you can literally sit and give people a true, pretty good gauge on what they're going to be spending. So like when I built my home, my sales consultant, I didn't build with Pulte. She told me I'd probably spend about $25,000 over the base price, and Maureen did not spend $25,000. She spent about $100,000.
I was going to say, how many doubles?
Yeah. So I was I feel very strongly about helping people and holding their hand through that. So that way, they're not walking into the design center saying, I didn't know that I couldn't have, soft close cabinets.
Yeah.
We go over all of that. But the big thing is it's not set in stone when you meet with us. It's really just a quote. Give you an idea, right?
And it's a accurate quote, right? So you can walk out of there and like when you come back, it's not going to be $200,000 different. It's like, no, that's going to be within range. Obviously, market
I
conditions.
was going
and
to
all
say, let's
Yeah.
put a little star
Yeah, yeah.
caveat.
Accurate.
That's 2 years from now, it's going to be different.
But
or a
it's
year
going to
from
give
now.
you a really good
Yeah.
sense of, okay, this is within my target budget.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Absolutely.
At least.
Yeah, if I'm going to do this, I feel comfortable moving forward because I think I'm going to get everything that I want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if I go up a little bit, maybe. If I go down a little bit, maybe. But we try. I think we do a really good job at helping people with that.
Yeah. For your viewers, we do offer soft close cabinets. It's just not the base price.
Can't go there. They don't offer something.
We do offer.
But also let's talk about this though, because we've had this, right, where you are not a custom builder
Mhm.
and you do have a limit to your scope, right? So let's talk about like what you have. I mean, your models are beautiful. If I see something in the model, am I able to get it in general?
Not necessarily. Sometimes it's painting the lifestyle. So, like, for example, one of our models has an outdoor kitchen. You can put an outdoor kitchen post-close. Pulte is not going to do that.
Got it.
But
Okay.
part of the reason why we can stay on track with a 5 to 9 month build time with not a whole lot of error is because we do have limited options for customization. It's what the most popular things that people want to customize. You know, I want an extended screen porch. I want soft close cabinets. I want quartz. We're not going to have 150 quartz opportunities for you,
Choices.
choices. So we keep it to the point where it's what's on trend, what makes sense, and it really helps people kind of stay in their lane so that way it doesn't get overwhelming. Where sometimes a custom build, there's so many decisions to make that it can be completely overwhelming. And that's the goal for Pulte is easy. We want
Simple.
it to be simple and easy and on plan.
And I think to your point, it upsets customers when the schedule gets thrown off. Now imagine, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, that we said, yeah, I don't want that faucet there. I want it here. And you did that 200 times a year. Now all of a sudden your crews, everything's changing. It's not as precise.
Right?
You
And
know?
then there are errors. Okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so there's a
separate
reason
plan.
for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So if you like the delivery time, you like to know what it's going to cost you. You know, you got to kind of take the good with the bad. Yeah, it's not even bad. It's just if you want custom, go build custom, but you're going to pay $150 a foot more.
Yeah.
And not get the amenities.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think it also makes it easier. I mean, do you want to go in and have 50 countertops to choose from? I
Right.
get overwhelmed even thinking about that, you know.
Good
So
point, Dale.
if you've got a smaller amount, you're like, okay, this matches, and you move on.
Absolutely.
You know,
Yeah.
it's great. So our customers decide they love Sun City, they want to be there. What's next? What where do you go from there? You've given them their estimate. What's the process?
If we, I typically find the last part of the process is showing the customer the home site. Sometimes that leads the conversation where we find the home site first. But let's say we priced your home out on paper and we say, all right, we love this plan. Let's go take a look at the home sites we could place this home on. We would go take a look at their, future home, and they would say, I'd love to buy this home. They would submit an earnest money deposit and a signed purchase agreement, and that would secure the build to get us started.
So currently, what is the earnest money? Is that a percentage?
Yeah.
Flat fee?
20% of the total purchase price is our typical deposit. Now, it doesn't mean that we wouldn't be willing to work with you if for whatever reason we had a valid case, but 20% of the purchase price is what we typically require. It's split into two pieces. $20,000 is what's due at time of signing. Say, I love this home. And the remainder of that 20% balance is due at your design appointment, typically a few weeks later.
Because at that point, you've got more solid numbers from what you've
That's
chosen.
So only your structural items you're committing to a contract.
Okay.
So all the design items that we put in that quote, so you have a good number, we pull that all out. So you're only committing to your home site, your base price, and the structural items when you sign off.
When you sign. So if I could jump in, because I know I hear David all the time with this, is as far as the language in the contract, because it's quite a long contract, 17 pages, am I right? If not more. But can we change any language in that contract?
Nope.
Okay. And I want to just make sure we had that on record.
Yeah, and I know
because-
in other areas of the country and what people are used to, it's just this is a national builder. You know, it's used all over the country. Certainly, there's property specific and home specific components to what you're signing off on, like your elevation of your home and the structural components. But in terms of the contract is the contract.
Okay, so we're at the point you've signed the contract, we've delivered the earnest money check. where do we go from there?
I send every buyer a next steps email as soon as they sign the purchase agreement and supply the deposit. Typically, they would either need to submit a verification of funds that says that they have a certain amount of cash in the bank, or provide a loan application. Pulte Mortgage is a great option as one of our one-stop shop options.
So you guys have a mortgage company too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if they wanted to lend through or get their mortgage through Pulte, it's a super seamless process for the buyer. But after that, Donna, our design consultant, or one of our many design consultants, would reach out to set up their design appointment. And typically, right now, what we're running is about 45 to 60 days from a signing of a contract. We're usually getting started. So at that time, construction takes the baton and gets rolling.
Yeah. So I really want to touch on this because this is part of where we work together, because this is, they're coming in through us a lot of times. Hey, I don't know, I've never been here. We introduce them. What do you want new construction, you want resale? Okay, new construction. We bring them to you. And then the process, they think, okay, you get into the contract when you leave. And it's like, but it goes from you to Donna, which is design, which then goes to corporate and all the permitting and all that process. And then eventually we land upon what you call them a supervisor or builder.
Yeah.
That's what I call them. Construction manager. They're all called different.
They get assigned, right?
And so that's what's important for people to understand is your role is really front end loaded, even though you're there. You're there through the process. You're always going to be there and you're never not going to turn them away. But I really want anybody watching to understand that it is a process and there is a workflow and that everybody has a role, and that when you get to that builder, that supervisor, construction manager, that it's okay. Everybody's still there. We're still there, but that person you got to trust because they're going to be.
Well, they're the expert, right? They're the one you want in charge. You don't want me in charge of drywall. So, yeah.
They're going to take care of you. Everybody's still involved. And it's not like, oh, they left me. It's like, well, no, they did their part.
Right.
Yeah.
You do your role. Everybody's got to do their part. And that's how you bring a house together. That's how you go from dirt to a home.
And I think the one thing I appreciate so much about you guys is when we get to that stage, we're still looped into what's going on.
Right.
So they'll start getting updates, right? And pictures from the construction manager. All of us are looped on that.
That's
Yeah,
right.
I will say
we're all
Pulte, actually, that's another thing. You probably have the best builders when it comes to keeping the
us up.
agents involved.
There's a high expectation from the developer that they hire people that, are competent and professional and responsive. So when you start, when we start your house, there's a build quality introduction with that phase 1 construction manager. So that person's going to take you from the foundation being poured all the way up until we get to drywall. And you will get weekly or bi-weekly pictures. And if you're living in Ohio or you're in Michigan and you're not here yet, it's not like you're going to show up and your house is going to be complete. You're part of the process the entire time.
Yeah.
So it makes people feel, it's like a team. Everybody's working together.
Yeah, I agree. And those two words should never be mentioned in the same breath again, Ohio, Michigan. And the state up north, just for the record. We're going to set that straight there.
Did that on purpose.
Sorry. It just got me.
For your clients that haven't built a home, I'll tell you, folks love it. I mean, it's the construction process, the fact that you're so included. It's such an exciting, way to come down here is to build it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, the bathtub is there. I can't believe it.
Yeah. It's to light up.
Now, speaking of that, do they have to be here for the design appointment? Or can they do it remotely, or do they have to fly?
You're a fully virtual company if the customer desired. If for whatever reason they can't make it for their design appointment, signing of contract, signing at closing, pre-drywall. I've done videos for customers at every stage of the game. But the big ones I find that customers usually come for, a lot of people like to see, touch, and feel the samples at the design center.
Yeah.
The build quality introduction is almost always done over a Teams meeting. There's no reason why we want to have you travel to come see the same plot of land that you saw whenever you decided to give us the first check. But you can if you want to. Almost everybody comes to do the pre-drywall appointment.
That's the big one.
That's what we call the build quality orientation. Now we have something vertical for the client to see. Typically the house is wrapped, sided, roof on it, and the rough end mechanicals are there exposed for the client to see. So everything from your plumbing, electrical, any of those rough in
HVAC.
things. HVAC, yeah.
Yep.
So before they cover up the walls, before the, for the drywall goes up and the fit to finish, the pretty items, we really like to show off what you're really buying, which is the engineering and
The
process of what
quality
we do.
structure. Yeah.
Our goal is to be the most respected home builder in America. You'll find our job sites are clean.
Yeah.
We really do a really good, tidy job. We want to show that to you. It's also another time that folks take pictures of what's behind the wall so they can see this is where my water line's going in.
I'm not going to hang a mirror there.
Well, that's huge. Or hey, oh my gosh, if I would have drilled there's my plumbing, and my PEX plumbing is running right down that wall, right?
Yeah.
So that is a very important thing. And then we also provide a pre-drywall inspection.
Yeah.
And what I love and appreciate, because sometimes I can get hairy, but we do it. And every time I've handed one in, your builders, you know what they say? We'll take care of it.
Yeah.
So quite. I mean, now I know a lot of it might be inspector, it's a pain in my butt, probably doesn't need to be done, but they always work with us.
Yeah.
And I think what it does is gives another layer, added peace of mind to the customer that, okay, now it's under drywall, I had it inspected. You obviously are getting it inspected by the county,
Yeah.
but we do that too. And I think you're right. The pictures, everything, you have to see that. And if you can't be there for that, that's one that you don't want to miss.
That's
You got to
what
be
you wanna
there
be there for.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good.
So then the house is finished.
Yeah.
Well, we've gone through this section. What did you call it?
It's
the
known in builder
pre-inspection.
industries like a pre-drywall. That's the
Pre-drywall.
most layman's terms, but we call it a build quality
That's
orientation.
good. Yeah.
The next step in the game is what we call it, or your next handshake meeting is called the build quality celebration, or pre-quality pre-close orientation, and then your celebration. As the home's coming to the final days of closing, the pre-closing orientation, we go over all of your warranty items, how to take care of your cabinets and countertops and floors. There might be a couple of pieces of tape on the walls because we're coming to those last final items, but your house is 99.9% complete when the construction manager is presenting it to you at this time.
Yeah.
We give you a roll of tape and give you the opportunity to go through the house again and identify any items that might need to be corrected as we come in close
That's
and
great.
close.
Like a walkthrough.
Yeah, like a final walkthrough.
Yeah, a lot of people call that a tape walk, in the
Okay.
builder industry, but it's a lot of times about a week out from when we close. And then about a week later, we come and we do what we call a celebration. We put a big banner on the garage that say, welcome home. And then you get to go through those items again to make sure everything's completed to your satisfaction before you take ownership, which is typically the following day.
Oh, wow.
So those are your
That's
last
great.
pieces.
So those are the success stories.
Mhm.
Yay, hippie. Yeah. So talk to me about the process of some really strange things, but it's happened to me. Maybe something happens to one of the spouses and they're 6 months in and all of a sudden they can't move or they got to stay because of medical, how do you handle those situations? Obviously they're case by case,
Mhm.
but what is the builder, from your perspective, so somebody out there, what happens if that happens?
If an oops happens
And
during the home.
oops.
Yeah, I mean, I think that our motto really is do the right thing, right?
Okay.
Pulte is all about doing the right thing.
Okay.
Having said that, full disclosure, the deposit is non-refundable.
Yeah.
So that is, it's certainly a case-by-case basis,
Yeah.
but when you're giving us that 20% deposit, we're taking on 80% of the risk to
Right.
build that home.
Right.
So I think sometimes people forget about that part. But yeah, we're approachable people, we have approachable management. So we're a do the right thing people, but, we're also...
I've had it to where I actually had this happen, and my advice to them was, and now granted, we were in the trend was going up on value, right, from where they acquired it from. But I said, just close on it and sell it. And they made a small profit, but it wasn't, they didn't lose their deposit.
Right.
So there's other solutions, but that's a very important thing because I've actually had it happen on the flip side where somebody comes in and they're like, and it wasn't even a medical thing. They just changed their mind.
Right.
And they're like, what do I do? Now, it wasn't with you, but it's generally the same thing.
Yeah.
If you're going to do it, you got to know that is your risk, if you will, and you got to be committed to it.
Exactly.
So that's good. We don't always want to talk about it, but it does come up. And people got to realize that it is the process.
So the house is closed. What are the warranties like on the house and the functioning mechanics within the home?
Yep. So there's a 10-year warranty on the structure, 5-year on water intrusion, 2-year on your systems, and 1-year on workmanship.
Okay.
So that is an amazing warranty to have. We have in-house warranty 24 hours a day if there's an emergency service, and we really are with you.
So you
Yeah.
have water starts coming out of the water heater.
Mhm.
You can just call the number and they'll come over and fix
Absolutely.
it within that first year
Mhm.
or 2 years.
2 years
It's
for water
structured.
intrusion.
Yeah.
That would have
5
probably
years.
fall under your water intrusion warranty.
Yes.
Yeah, so 5 years. Yeah.
Love your specificness.
Well, so I have rare, unique expertise because I've actually built with this company. I built with a Pulte community called Malin Bluff, which is just outside of where Sun City is at.
Yeah.
And so just throwing that out there for
Yeah,
you.
yeah. So
We were coming close to closing out, but they took great care of me. I love the process. I love being able to speak to it through the eyes of a homeowner as well as the buyers that I serve every day.
yeah,
But now I'm in that warranty side of things, right? So, construction, like my boss says, construction's messy, right? So it's been a process, but I tell you what, they take great care of you. It was exciting. And now that I'm in the warranty process, I wouldn't be with another team. They have done a phenomenal job. Anything that would be a request is above and beyond like you would believe. So, and like you said, it's in-house. It's not as if they're subbing out the work.
So it's
Having you call a
actually
1-800 number,
yeah.
everybody is people that I
Which is
see on a daily
numbers too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's what
Hey,
people I see on a
there's
day in and
those
day out.
professional warranty companies that
Sure.
they're buying that 210 or whatever it is, and
Exactly.
you're right, it's a third party. So it's again, these are huge distinguishing aspects of building and why it's not just the community. It's you're buying the brand, Pulte. And actually, let's talk about Pulte. Let's go into the history because a lot of people didn't know. Sun City, Del Webb, they thought, it's from the beginning, from the 60s. But it's like, no, Pulte bought them when? Early
2001.
2001. So
Yeah.
let's talk about that. And
Yeah. So Del Webb was the original 55 and over trailblazer, right?
Yeah.
In Arizona.
Mhm.
Amazing man, amazing builder, really saw, what that retiree wanted. And then at that time it was golf and, shuffleboard, that kind of thing. But as the company, grew and developed, trying to get, activities and amenities for retirees or pre-retirees. So Pulte came in and they acquired them in 2001. But Del Webb actually, he built Madison Square Garden. I don't know if you knew that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So like
Del Webb built that.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
That's a first, only on Real Talk. That's a
but yeah, so like we talked about earlier in the show, just the Del Webb is that 55 and over brand under the Pulte Group corporation. So
Talk about the history of Pulte, because a lot of people don't, if you haven't heard of Pulte, I'm quite surprised because, you're probably one of the biggest. Outside of maybe Toll and Lennar, I don't know, but
D.R. Horton.
D.R. Horton, but they're a totally different brand. Like they're totally different customer, totally different clientele, totally different everything, But talk about Pulte a little bit, about the history and
Well, she's a statistician when it comes to a lot of the years, but I'll throw a couple of things that I think are important. Again, our motto is we make consumer inspired homes to make lives better, which I think that speaks to the survey. We really are trying to meet all buying demographics where they are.
yeah.
Being consumer inspired, it's been a great joy to work for a company like this. The warranty, everything kind of follows suit all the way down. We started about, was it 70 years ago that Pulte started? Excuse me. Del Webb brand has been for 70 years. But Bill Pulte built his first home in Michigan at 18.
Is that where he started? He started in
Yeah.
Michigan.
He was
Okay, I
Michigan.
didn't know that.
That stayed up there.
Yeah. North.
Man, Michigan.
Right. No more. We're done.
So he started just a local guy then. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
It just was really all about the consumer, the customer, and building a home that, worked for. I think the first house had a fireplace in it, right? And that was part of the deal that he was like, that was customizing to meet the buyer where they are.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Built it himself, I think, when he was 18 and kind of grew from there, again, with all the same principles that we still stand by today. So
okay.
It's
Now,
a true
but they're
American.
publicly traded company or
Publicly
private?
traded.
Okay, so it's
Mhm.
publicly traded, based in Atlanta.
Based in Atlanta.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, that's
It's
good.
an amazing company to work for too. It's just they really, take care of their employees, and I think that makes for a better process overall, for the consumer as well.
Well, you can
Yeah.
tell. How many? Donna's been there. I think Donna's been there since
She's 19 years now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Since almost the beginning.
hmm
Art's been there quite a long time.
22.
Golly, so they've all been there quite a long time. Yeah.
So-
So one thing we never talked about this whole time was you can start from building from scratch, go through the whole process, but you also have another option because of the way you build, because how you build. You want to talk about that a little bit?
So, popular term in the industry is a spec home, but we call them a quick move-in or a showcase home. What we recognize is there's a part in the market where they want that new construction, but don't have the time to build a brand new home. So what we do is we start some of the most popular models in a number of different phases. So I might have a home today for you, David, that's available that'll be finished in 30 days or maybe even completed all the way. And we might have something that's 3 months away from being completed or just relatively recently started, but might be done in 4 or 5 months rather than waiting that 6 to 9 months build time frame. So we have a little bit of something for everybody. And again, we call those quick move-in homes, and right now we have quite a few of them, so we'd love to show them to you.
Okay, so let's talk about that. So obviously, no customizing, no picking, no nothing. That's already been done.
Exactly. But
Okay.
it is, the designer does pick what is most on trend. So it's not like you're getting stuck with something that isn't, popular within what the choices are being made generally with customers.
Because they've had 200 people that just came through the door, so they
Yeah.
kind of know.
They said, yep, we really think quartz countertops are going to work here, so we're going to put them in.
Yeah,
And what's great about that is you can actually see and feel what your end product's going to be like. Unlike sitting in the design center, you're imagining
That's right.
that. So if you're having a problem imagining it, this is a great way.
Yeah,
to move
it's the
in.
mannequin,
Yeah.
right? You can see it.
Yeah.
That's what you can do. And
You've got some great terms. Like, rewatch this show, and I'm writing it all down. I'm like, I gotta have it. It's good stuff.
it's true though.
Yeah.
People like to buy the mannequin. They
Yeah.
want to walk in and see what it looks like. Not everybody's mind works that way.
Oh,
and
I'm the mannequin.
I just want the mannequin six pack. I just like put it.
Well, they are like things that you can.
That's true too.
Body suits.
I actually am wearing one now.
Does that work for the guns too?
Brilliant.
Well, mannequin.
Anyway, you had a question.
So the process though is a little different. It's much more like a kind of a resale, if you will, type situation. You just come in, here's your price, you just go into contract, really.
Exactly.
That's how it works.
That's it. No changes.
Deposits?
Deposit is typically the same. We're still
Same.
going to ask for 20%.
20% of
Mhm. Purchase price, but again, talk to us if there's something in terms of the deposit, and we can work with you on that. We can try and do that. But
Now, is that something that's always ongoing, or is that a special thing? Like it happens occasionally?
the quick move-ins,
Yes.
we typically have offerings in the Scenic series, the Distinctive series, and the Duets. Typically in the Echelon series, we don't offer a quick move-in home. That would be a very rare occasion.
Yeah, and
that's the bigger series.
well,
right?
actually, let's break down the series because duet. What's a duet? Because that's a very important thing because it's not a single family home. So
Well, it is single family, but it's
Oh, it
single
is.
family attached. So you do own the land underneath it. So
Okay,
it's not
that's
like
true.
a condominium type of situation. Typically, referred to as a townhome, right? But townhomes usually have second stories. So, some people refer to it as a villa also, but it's really just a single family attached home.
okay, single story, zero lot line then. So the wall's the lot line
The
basically.
wall, yeah, that's where their firewall in between the
Okay.
two homes. And we have
Okay.
4 different floor plans in that series.
Okay, a little smaller though. What's your
What's your
maximum
square
square footage
footage?
in that?
Yeah.
About 1,400 square feet, and
Okay.
the HOA is actually a little bit higher for them because you get everything that you would get as a detached single family home, but you're also getting your roof, downspouts and gutters, termites, and exterior paint covered. So that's $378 a month for the duets.
Okay, so you'll replace that every 10 years?
It would be
Whenever.
major roof repair.
Whenever it's done, it just goes into separate reserve fund
Mhm,
basically, and
exactly.
it covers it, so they're not going to get hit with an assessment like, hey, okay,
The goal.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And they're in an amazing location in Sun City West, walkability factor to the new amenity center. So you want to play tennis, you want to play pickleball, you want to go for a morning swim, you're walking right out your driveway right to the amenity center.
and they're beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
They look beautiful.
Very
I
well.
mean, they're really, and you got what? There's 4
4.
now.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay. I haven't seen the other 2. I've only seen the models. I'd like
Yeah,
to
they're
walk
great. Really
So
good.
then let's go to the next. So duets then.
And then the next step up would be our Scenic series. So if you said you didn't want an attached home, you'd want but again, everything you want, nothing that you don't, a smaller series. The Scenic series is more of our 1,400 to 1,600 square foot single family home, 2-car garage. It's going to be 2 beds, 2 baths, and what we call a flex space. All of our single family homes, those included, would have the ability to add a second story if you need to bump it out and add some
So
additional.
that's all of them except for the duets.
That's
Okay.
right.
Okay.
So you can do a second story. You can also do the walk up, which I think you have the best storage, walk up storage. Can everybody do that? with the garage?
Depending on the elevation. There are some restrictions. So it's floor plan based and elevation based. And elevation meaning the face of the home, what it looks like and what the outside looks
And
like.
that matters because if somebody next to you has that elevation already, you can't pick it.
Well, that's right.
So that could,
that's monotony rules that
Yeah.
we have. So that way, cut down on the cookie cutterness. So
Right.
on either side and across the street, and the same thing with color.
Okay.
Really try and make sure that it's, differentiated on the
Okay.
streets.
So if they want that bump out, walk up storage, it's picking the right lot's the key on that one.
Yeah,
then.
absolutely.
Okay.
Yep. The next series up is going to be our most popular series. It's called the Distinctive Series. When I say most popular, just by a hair, but that's our 1,600 square feet to more like 2,000 square feet.
Okay.
Again, those do have the ability to add second stories and sunrooms to, build those out a little bit. But plans like the Palmieri and the Prestige are more of that 1,800. That's our most popular collection.
Okay.
And then, as Maureen was stating, the Echelon is the largest and probably closest to custom section we have. That really starts at just under 2,200 square feet and goes up all the way to 3,700 square feet if you did the Renown with a
3-car garage,
That's right.
or 2 cars with the bay, because it's not a true third car, is it? It is. Okay, so it's a true 3-car. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, those are really nice. So if you could give me some general price points where they might land from a duet all the way up, if you were to just take typical, like what you come through the door, what would you say?
Answer that? Me too.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, don't want to date the podcast,
No,
but
I get it.
I would say the duets, I call it the 4s. So the
Mhm.
brand new Brilliance and Caledonia are typically the low 400s. The Danbury and Ellington more like the mid 400s.
Okay.
The Scenic series usually the high 4s, low 5s. The Distinctive series right now today is the high 6s, low 7s.
Okay.
And then the Echelon series right now typically starts in the high 700s and can go all the way up to $1 million and some change.
Depending on how you.
Yeah, so that
How
really
you
is
upgrade.
the lot and everything
Yeah.
that's encompassed with that.
And that's something too that we really didn't talk about, the lot. So, when Jared talked about the 3 pieces of the puzzle, base price plus the land and then AI options,
Yeah.
the land is variable, right? So depending on the series, you could have a lot that's a $12,000 lot all the way up to a $250,000 lot. And that is just based on series and location and view. So you have something that's like a water to woods view with, nature preserve behind it. That's going to be a much higher price point. So that's going to change where you land in that series. So thinking about what is most important to me. And I said to people, where do you want to put your money? Do you want to put it
In the
on the house or do you want to put it outside?
Yeah.
And that kind of gets people thinking. And some people are adamant. I do not want to look at the back of another home. I want to look at birds and water. And, we can help, break that down for them and get them to where they need to be at price point and prioritize.
So how do you do lot releases? Can we talk to that just a little bit?
Yeah, it's just a few at a time.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And once those are sold, then you move on to the next group. Okay.
Well, we want to make sure that our customers always have a variety to see. So we might have a several collection of homes that are on water with multiple different views of maybe different sun directions. Let's say, for instance, if we have an abundance of maybe corner home sites where you only have a home to one side, landscape views, or if you've got like a landscaped berm behind you, wooded views that are backing up to like a nature preserve, or like what Maureen was saying, the highest typically is like a water to woods where you don't have any visual homes behind you. Is the most secure that we'll typically offer. In terms of how we release them, we try to offer that variety all the time. So if we were to sell a number of homes over the course of a weekend, it's likely that very next week we might have a release of a couple more home sites. And we release them in what we call an even flow fashion. So typically 1 or 2 on either side of the street as we work our way down the road. And what that does for the buyer is by the time you're pulling in the driveway, full well that we're selling home sites that are well on down the street. So we're not in phases of construction typically that are where they're swinging roof trucks and everything is under.
Yeah.
It's more like the painters are on the inside of the neighbors' houses. So everybody's closing right around the same time. And it does really allow for that, everybody's moving in around the same time, allows people to connect as well. So it's great.
That's good. Excellent.
Well, we've talked a lot about construction and obviously the process. Let's talk about the community a little bit more. Let's dive into these amenities and the HOA. Let's touch on that because obviously it's one of the premier 55 plus active communities.
Yeah, and as 55 plus experts, I really want to chime in on that because when I tell people, it's like, I want amenities. I'm like, okay,
All right.
do you want Disney World? Because that's you guys.
Sure.
Or do you want just like a little local resort, which is like the Haven, right?
Right.
So I really want to dive into how expansive
Well, and I
it
think
really
that's like
is.
a good analogy too. And I usually use the analogy of colleges, right? So do you want a small liberal arts school or do
Hmm.
you want a big university with, college football? And that's kind of what Sun City is, right?
Right.
We're going to bring you more. We're going to bring you 9,000 square foot woodworking shop. We're going to bring you ceramics, stained glass, billiards, a 540 seat performing arts theater.
So
Which is
go
a
ahead.
true theater.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
Let's
it's
talk about
magnificent.
that. Let's park there for a quick minute
Yeah.
because we have obviously a lot of clients that live in the community and they share with us, the shows. So let's talk about what shows come. Is it music? Is it theater?
There's everything. There's
Everything.
tribute bands. Like there was an Allman Brothers tribute band not long ago, and they do 2 nights. So that way there is room for the residents. So it's not like a Ticketmaster situation,
Yeah.
right? That you're
Okay.
waiting for tickets.
yeah,
But I walked in there one day, and there was a full orchestra practicing.
Yeah.
And
down in the
combination.
pit.
Yeah, exactly. And that can sometimes be a combination of residents or somebody coming in from the outside, but it really is like a college campus for adults. There's something for everyone. If you're not an athlete, we have the arts. If you
Yeah.
are an athlete, we have a sports complex with 20 uniformed softball teams and concessions and spectators.
Hot Dog Tuesdays.
That's right.
you
Hot
know?
dog- Big deal. Pickleball for days. I mean, we're building so many more pickleball courts, even going to have the, wherewithal to have indoor pickleball in the new amenity
wow.
center.
Wow.
So, yeah, we could talk for hours about all the amenities that are there, and they just keep getting better.
And what I want to talk about too with it, it's impressive because whenever I do the tour, and Hunter can attest to this, I always try to point out that this community started in 1995, right?
Hmm.
Right. So when you go to Town Square, that doesn't look like a 1995 building,
Mm-mm.
right? So can you talk about that too as well? Like, because, I know the homeowner association, all that handles all that, but talk about how it's maintained because it does. It
Updated,
looks
yeah.
so updated and new still,
Mhm.
even though you got all the usage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't want anything to dry out necessarily. So the COVID shutdowns were actually a blessing in disguise in a lot of ways. There was quite a few of those amenities. Almost everything was recently redone. The softball field, or excuse me, the pickleball fields at the softball complex, 540 seat Performing Arts Center was recently redone. I know that they just recently redid the River Bend Clubhouse.
Mhm.
Okatee Creek's just been done, and I think what we have upcoming in 25 is the Okatee Creek Golf Course, which is the average play like par is 72, and it's like it's not the championship course at Hidden Cypress, but they're doing a $3 million reinvestment.
Wow.
Redoing a lot of the berms and things like that to make sure that the play is aggressive and beautiful, that kind of thing. So
Wow.
constantly reinvesting.
So you have 3 golf courses,
We do.
right? What, executive, championship,
Mhm.
and regular? Well, I'm not a golfer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Okatee Creek is, I would say, probably on par with one of the most popular. Argent Lakes is the shortest, and Hidden Cypress is the championship course.
Okay. And are there restaurants and bars?
Yep, 3
Clubhouses?
on-site restaurants. Yeah,
Okay.
so casual, a steakhouse, and then more of like a clubhouse, like a typical golf club clubhouse.
What are the names again?
So Al's Pizzeria is the one at Argent Lakes. Jameson's Char House is at Hidden Cypress,
Mhm.
and Okatee Creek is at Okatee Creek.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you have to have an extra membership to that, or does that come with your HOAs?
Golf is extra,
It
so
is an
that's
additional.
that's
Okay.
an addition. But your homeowners association fees, which we didn't really talk about,
Yeah.
when you're building new with us, it's $286.25 a month is the breakdown, which is an incredible value. And I mean, absolutely.
That's as of right now, 2020, end of 2024.
Yeah.
And just to be clear too, so like you mentioned billiards and ping pong and all that gives you access to everything. So you might pay extra for say a club, like I'm going to do pottery and I might have to pay for my materials
Mhm.
to actually use the equipment, to actually
You want to
get.
jump in the pool? Yep, that's
Right.
covered.
Yeah,
It's
so
going to cover your lawn care also, which is huge.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's mind blowing, honestly, for 282 a month. Like, the fitness centers are as nice as
Oh, yeah.
Planet Fitness
Yeah.
or anything else. I mean,
There's
it is.
6 of them? 6 fitness centers? Or is it 6
Jameson's,
pools?
Okatee Creek,
No, I think
else, 4 or 5.
4. Yeah,
4 or 5,
Mm,
okay.
yeah.
yeah.
And then the new one, the new on.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
why I was kind of.
Yeah.
Depends on if you're counting that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, I don't think the amenities. I mean, the woodworking shop alone. I saw
Yeah, let's
that.
talk about the woodworking shop a little bit because that's quite momentous, I guess, in the nation is probably one
Well,
of the
it's
best.
not just like a table saw, and a drill. I mean, this is like comprehensive.
Master craftsmen doing inlay. I mean,
Yes.
absolutely. But what's really cool is that you do have these people with incredible skill, maybe lifelong skill, maybe in their craft.
Yeah.
But you also have somebody who worked for IBM for 35 years and never had a chance to do that, and they did it in high school and would like to get back in. And this guy over here is helping this guy over here learn
For free.
and it's that and that's that human connection and community feel. And that's across the board. That's in the sports, that's in the theater, that's in, wouldn't you say?
Photography,
Yeah.
pottery. I mean, you literally meet these
Even
people
have
who
a
have
radio station, right?
Yeah.
Sorry. I just thought
they
of that.
do.
Yeah.
I mean, no, it's like I said, if you haven't been in there, because like I said, when somebody says I want amenities, I'm like, I got to really drill that down.
Yeah.
Because we can dial that thing up for you.
Yeah.
Every time I take somebody out there, they literally get blown away. I mean, they really do. They can't believe for less than $300 a month. Yeah, and some people, and this is what I love too, is every time you go somewhere, there's people everywhere all the time, and I always have
active.
I have an ongoing joke. I'm like, these are not paid actors, like right? Like I didn't set this up. Like they're like, is it always this busy? I'm like, yeah, because people are living.
Yeah,
and that's one thing too. Talk to that about the lifestyle aspect of like I honestly believe one of the one of the observations that people would make when we drive them around is we go to Sun City and like people are really old. And my response, and you tell me if you agree, my response, and this is again anecdotal, this is just me and my observation. It's been there since 1995. You got this very active, vibrant life, high quality of life. Yeah, people are living longer. And that's a good thing.
Well, and that's the truth. And that's something, that Del Webb considers. And, like we're limited with what we can talk about with age just because of fair housing.
Of course.
Yeah.
But in terms of, why this product has developed the way that it has, why these communities have, is because people are living longer and they want to be outside. And that's the beauty of South Carolina, the Hilton Head area, is that you have 12 months out of the year to be able to utilize all of that outside space. But you have people into their 80s in the running club.
Yeah.
So just because you're older doesn't mean that you're not active and you're not still doing.
Yeah.
And I think that that's where people kind of get caught up in that. I can't believe I'm here at this stage, but it's you're here at this stage and you're going to be here that much longer than, you're not sitting on a porch having lemonade in a rocking chair.
Yeah.
That's not
it's
the
not
idea.
just sitting at the pool. Well, I mean, it's there. But this is, we have a saying, live life now and live life different. Come here, you're coming to live.
Yeah.
And to your point earlier with the woodworking shop, right? If there's something that you've wanted to do your whole life, but you couldn't do it because you're working, Sun City is a perfect place to pick up the art that you never got to do, or the woodworking, or the pottery. When you said that, I'm like, it's a perfect place.
It really
to
is.
do it.
And if you get tired of it, you try something else.
How many clubs are there?
Right?
Over
there's
150.
clubs.
Over 150. Wow. How many groups? So that's 150. Those are what? Sanctioned clubs, I guess, right? Official. But there's probably several hundred interest groups beyond that.
Yeah.
So if you have an interest, you'll find it.
Yep. Yeah.
Even yucca.
That's
This
right.
guy loves yucca. There's a yucca club.
I mean, I saw that and it's on the board. I'm like, I always ask people, can you even say that? Like, what's that word say?
Yeah.
So if somebody wanted to start a group or join a group, what does that look like?
Yep.
I would say the lifestyle director is typically the first place that I would park them. As we talked about before, we all have our specialties and expertise. I'm, part of the developer that helped build this new home and start your lifestyle. You got the guy that constructs the home and so on. The lifestyle director is really who's going to take the baton once you get started. They would help get you set up with, we've got a newcomers club that typically is where people park themselves if they don't know where their interests are. And, those things kind of blossom from there. The lifestyle directors, they're going to get you set up with your decals and everything to kind of get yourself acquainted and get plugged in. That's where I would go if I had a passion and said, hey, this club or group isn't represented today. How do I flesh that out? And sometimes you have things that are Del Webb sanctioned, and sometimes you're just finding places to connect here in Sun City, and it's, you do your own thing,
Yeah.
So
we've heard from a lot of our clients that in the little neighborhoods, so we talked about the different kind of regions of Sun City, and say we're talking about Sun City South. Within that, you have little neighborhoods, and they do their own little neighborhood parties and get-togethers as well.
And that's what makes it, when you're talking about that expansive community of all of those homes, it does make it have, a small town feel within your little Botany Bay or Sanctuary Cove. And, there are holiday parties and they get together and that's their group. Not that you're not open to everybody else, but you still get that
neighborhood
warm
intimacy.
feeling.
Yeah.
And I love it because when you go by on different holidays, the signs are all dressed up different. You can kind of see whoever was organizing it.
And people are proud of it. Like they'll come in and they'll say, I live in Fishery Bluff. That's where I am.
How often have you guys had people buy from and then come back and buy and move to somewhere else? And does that happen a lot?
Yes, I've sold a number of people more than once.
Isn't that funny?
That way,
They buy here and then they now move over here. Yeah, I have that. I've had that a couple times.
Yeah, especially when a new floor plan is released or somebody thinks that they wanted to downsize and they realize that they didn't, or they bought something to reverse. They bought something that was larger than they want and they want to go the other way. So that's what's nice too. You have the option to stay in the community that you love, maybe in just a different floor plan.
Yeah.
Change it up. So that lifestyle director, is there just one or is there multiple or?
There's a whole team basically that would get you set up. There's obviously someone that's on the front desk side that would get you set up at your decals and so on, but there's a department for just about anything. So if you said, hey, I'm looking to start a club or group, they would be the triage that would help you find your individual department.
Now, do they organize festivals or?
Oh, yeah. So last year there were 398 events.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Almost one for every day.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Well, and
except for Sundays.
And it's like there's stuff for all different seasons and all different reasons. But I think a great example is New Year's, right? So you have this community of people that, some people are living in a villa and some people are living in a 4,000 square foot home, right? So different lifestyles, different expectations, different life experiences of what they want. So for New Year's, there were 3 different types of parties. You have those people that want the black tie, go all out, band. But you also have people that just want to get together and maybe have, some baked ziti and a salad. So there's different options for people.
Those ones that want the ball to drop at 8.
Yeah. That's what we do. I understand. Yeah, that's me. Nothing wrong with that.
Be the same
I don't remember the last time I made the ball drop.
in the last couple of years. We've done it
Really?
once. Yeah.
It's barely. I barely get
We're
there.
on camera.
I know.
What about like outdoor markets or farmers markets? And let's talk about the garden.
Garden club.
Yeah.
That's the
love
thing,
those
because you
kind of
cannot. Let's talk actually about what are you allowed to do to your lawn? Can you have a garden? And how do you guys deal with that?
Yeah, I don't want to speak too far outside of my comfort zone here.
That's fine.
But my understanding is that you can do some planters and things like that on your back porch, but nothing actually in the ground.
Okay.
In terms of your own personal property, you're allowed to add. At time of contract, we typically would give you a document that's called the Architectural Guidelines. It's got a number of species that do really well in this climate. It's great direction for you to make the home yours. We do have individual garden plots as well in Sun City if gardening, tomatoes and specific plants and
So
things
you
like that.
can't do that in your back.
So it's a section
Yeah, it's all.
Correct.
that then you would go and through the
Rent
garden
a plot.
rent
Yep.
plot.
And that would be yours. I know that, if you want to have fruit trees, some of the rules are like it has to be in a bucket. It can't be in the ground in your own home.
Got it.
But everything needs to get approved from the HOA.
So everything goes through the ARB. As long as you go through the process, that's the way to go.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that's the one thing I will say from our perspective is when you go to the south side, you see the maturity and they come to the north side, they're always like, can I make my yard look like that?
Sure.
And I just tell them, you got to go through the ARB. There's an avenue for it, but you have to follow the guidelines.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's good for everyone. Rules are good because you that's what makes Sun City so consistent and so beautiful. And it's
The beauty.
It is.
Right there.
Yeah.
I agree.
So do you have farmers markets from that garden? Do the residents sell their produce on a particular day?
I know for sure that it's been tried. I don't know that they've got a set schedule that says, every Thursday like they do at Old Town Bluffton.
Yeah.
because I'm just not sure if the success rate was there to continue and prompt it, on a weekly basis. But I know that they've tried it a number of times, and they're always kind of moving and shaking and trying new things for sure.
Yeah.
But the Old Town Bluffton, which is 15 minutes from Sun City, they have that farmers market every Thursday that is absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
So
And the island has one on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So
Honey
a
orange.
couple times.
So let's talk about safety, a little bit, because obviously I call this a lock and leave community, essentially, but talk about the security aspect, gates and all that. Talk to
yeah, I mean, completely gated, 24-hour roaming security. You're not going to be able to get into the community if you don't live there, unless you're obviously coming to the sales center. But I think generally, it's a very, very safe community for sure.
Yeah, so it's 24-hour security. Is that is that a third party that runs that, or is that ran by the HOA?
It's run by Securitas, an outside company that's hired by the HOA.
Okay,
Yeah.
I got it. Okay.
And they have people driving cars and police officers within the community.
Haven't you seen my tickets? I've stopped them. I haven't had a ticket in there in a long time.
You just have to cry.
Is that what you do?
I was a man.
Married to a police officer.
I don't think that's gonna work for
What
me.
you do?
I couldn't do it. I'd be like,
I usually get the guy that's coming up to, hey, buddy, you think you're a little fancy guy here, huh?
We have an HHP and they are the worst.
really?
Oh, sorry. Edit.
It's a podcast. Cut that.
You just got glad.
We'll do that too. Rudy, you can edit it out. It's a security. Yeah. So, are there any resident-driven neighborhood watches, watch programs, or emergency response plans?
So we do have some medical facilities that are just outside of Sun City. We actually have some on site as well, but to my knowledge, there's no neighborhood watch at this moment in time.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know I've seen hurricane warnings that come out from you. You send that kind of emergency plans out to the HOA sends that out to the residents. If you're new in the area, here's what you need to do. Here's your exit plans.
Yes.
I have seen that because you have a magazine. There's a magazine that goes
Sensations.
out. Sensations. And that gives all is it monthly, quarterly?
It's monthly.
Monthly, okay.
And it has the groups and the clubs and vendors and activities and just a spotlight on what's happening in the community for any given month. It's a great publication.
Yeah.
Absolutely to have, for sure.
You know what I forgot? Two things I forgot to ask. RVs. Are RVs allowed?
There's RV and boat storage that you can rent space, but they're not permitted in your driveway.
Yeah.
Okay, so
they have a separate section.
Yeah.
Actually, I love this because how big is that? Do you have how many spots are in there? Maybe 100.
I don't. I
But
can find out.
It's one of the few. Like, there's not too many that have it where you can, because one of our clients, Clyde, that was he had a big RV. So I'm like, I know the place, and he bought in there because the RV, and you can.
there's security, I'm assuming.
There is.
Yeah.
It's a totally separate entrance. It's off 170, but it's a whole big parking lot, secure, and now obviously you have to find a spot. But it's available, and a lot of them don't have that.
Yeah.
It's again,
It's huge.
it's another function. I want to dial back on something I meant to ask you regarding the HOA. Have there ever been like assessments that you're aware of, or because you don't have CDDs as the builder, and there's no like net special assessment. So break down what that is, and for people if they may not even know like what a CDD is.
Yeah, so
from a builder.
As far as my understanding, a CDD is basically is something that they have in Florida to kind of secure the infrastructure of what goes on there. We do not have that here in South Carolina, or more specifically,
It's usually costs passed on
Correct.
to the buyer.
Yeah.
To the home builder.
We have never had a special assessment in Sun City. We recognize that majority of our buyers are on fixed incomes, and in order for us to continue to keep our current residents happy and sell homes to homeowners in the future, that HOA needs to stay pretty well where it's at.
Okay.
I've been here for almost 8 years, and I've seen it fluctuate a couple of dollars. And the majority of the reason for that is because we continue to build more homes, so the landscaping is included for a number of more buyers, but it's usually within a couple of dollars.
Okay. Yeah. So, because that's the other thing too, because I haven't seen it. Have you seen a budget, or how sound is the HOA?
We have over $20 million in reserves.
In
It's
reserves.
an extremely, extremely well-run HOA, considering all of the renovations that were done, considering this new facility that we're building now, and there wasn't a special assessment
That's
to build
amazing.
that.
Wow.
It really is.
$45 million, right?
Yeah, and then 20 million in reserves. I mean,
Yeah, I
because
know, for
that's
the amenity
because I
center.
can't tell you how many people come to me who they
Oh, they've
thought
gotten
everything was
ruined.
fine, and all of a sudden they get nailed, and they're like, "What?" And they didn't realize how there was no money,
Yeah.
left. So that's great.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, that is.
In the amenities, we didn't talk about the furry friends, the dogs. What's available as far as amenities for them?
Yep.
We do have 3 dog parks, one
3.
located in the new Sun City West section. In addition to that pet paradise that's currently accessible by golf cart to residents, there's also Camp Green Dogs that's just outside of where the Sun City West section is located. There's also an emergency medical location that's just outside of where the Sun City West section is at. So very, very pet friendly. I know that the north side dog park has got a little what do you call it? Obstacle course set up. So folks, they love their dogs for sure.
Yeah, they do.
Do they have any like bathing stations or
They do. They have like hoses and stuff.
hoses to clean them off and
Little pools.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pools.
well,
Yeah.
they need it in the summertime.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's very pet friendly.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. Furry friends are welcome, the whole area.
2.
All right. 2. Okay, that's
So
the
that
limit.
was going to be one of my
Yeah,
questions.
so
was
two periods.
2 period. 1 cat, 1 dog, 2 dogs, 2 cats.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Really?
And no fences in Sun City. So you can have an underground fence, right? But no fences because we handle the landscaping. So we need those mowers to be able to get back in the yards.
That
Yeah,
makes sense.
Blown go.
Any breed restrictions?
Mm-mm.
No breed restrictions.
Not to date.
Okay.
Okay. Well, that's good
It's
to
good
know.
to know because we get
That's
that
a big,
question all
big
the
question.
time.
You know, because you get those kind of half pity kind of pit mixes, and people always want to know about those.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's good. By the way, I did not think we were going to get through a lot of these questions, and I'm like, you guys are
You
like
did awesome.
on your game. So, so anything else, just from your experience? You've obviously you talk to probably hundreds of people a year. Anything you want to give? Any bit of advice? Any bit of encouragement? Any bit of whatever from your experience? To anybody who might be stumbling across, you know what they're going through, so share something with them. You know.
Yeah, I think that the biggest thing that we hear from buyers after they close is the biggest mistake that I made was not getting here sooner.
Oh.
So I think that it is a very difficult thing for some people to move away from family or move out of that house of 30, 40 years, all of the stuff that's in it. And, you know, if they can see the forest through the trees, that this really is going to be that much better, then, you know, think about that, because you're clearly, if you're looking at I always say this, if you're looking at other communities, especially continually, and you're going on the YouTube and you're going here, you're cheating on that house already, right?
You are.
You're already got 1 foot at the door.
You are.
So,
Yeah.
you know, jump in.
Yeah.
Well, it's true because you're dancing and playing with the idea of what could be.
Something's not working here.
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Something, whatever that is. And it's different for everyone. Maybe it's stairs. Maybe it's the cold. Maybe it's the taxes. Maybe it's I don't like my neighbor.
Yeah.
Or I need to change. But there's something that's not working here that
You're
you
too
keep
close to that
revisiting.
state up north.
Right.
Or you have to live life now.
Well, that's it. And how do you want to live it?
Yeah.
Do you want to stay over here? Or do you want to, you know, go where it can be a whole lot more fun and active and sunny?
Yep.
Yeah.
With friendly people that will connect and talk to you.
That everybody, and I say this to a lot of people, the unique thing about Sun City in particular, but the Bluffton area in general, just because of the boom and Hilton Head area, people moved here like you did, like I did, like you did. They made that decision on their own. But Sun City in particular, they made a conscious decision. They did not get a job transfer here. They're not here because their family has always been here. They said, I want to live my best life. And it really puts a smile on their faces every day because that was their decision. They weren't forced into something. And it just makes for a better attitude. I mean, you go through the grocery store and everyone's smiling. It's lined with palm trees. Everyone's just in a good mood. And that changes, and that's 12 months out of the year.
I get that comment all the time. Is everybody so friendly? I'm
All
like,
those paid actors. Yeah.
because we genuinely, you know, like when I'm out literally driving around, especially like today and tomorrow, you know, I'm showing 30 houses, but I'm like, it's not even work because, like, look where I'm at.
Look where
you
you
know,
are.
look how beautiful it is, and you know, just to see everybody living, and you know, you're just living life, and it's different. It's way different than Ohio, that's for sure.
I have a friend that, a lot of outside activity, and she walks every morning. And she said to me, Maureen, I finally got to the point where I had to put my head down because my arm hurts so bad from waving at everybody as they walked by. I was like, what a good problem that is.
It's so funny because this is true. When I'll drive through, I'll have some people, because they're always waving, you wave, and then I'll have clients go, a lot of people. I don't really know them, but I'm just friendly.
You.
Right? So what about you, Jared?
Yeah, it's a great statement, Maureen, and I certainly don't want to steal any thunder from that, so I'll just add to it. The one thing I love the lifestyle. You guys, your whole podcast is centered around what the Lowcountry brings, so I don't want to steal a lot of thunder from that either. But Sun City specifically, I like to think that this builder does a great job offering all the floor plans so that you have something from like our brand new duet series that we just rolled out with, where if you're looking for that seasonal home, everything that you want, nothing that you don't, is something like a 1,400 square foot, 2-bed, 2-bath, all the way up to 4,000 square feet. We try to meet you where you're at. This is a partnership where every time you come into Sun City, we want to sit on the other side of the table with you, not in an adversarial relationship where it's some kind of a timeshare type thing. And for our buyer's agents as well, we understand you guys are out there working with these clients, and we want to make sure that share this lifestyle with everybody as much as we can. If it's not for you, again, we understand it's not for everybody, but it is for a lot of people. So really love it.
What do you find are the big obstacles for people that they're
Fear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's probably the main one. Fear of change. People don't like change. They're afraid of change. I'm going to make a wrong mistake. This is the last time I want to move, but I don't want to have to do this again.
I could see that.
Pretty much the biggest obstacle.
I find too at home, we've started trying to help people organize at home. Because the thought of, it's like, I want to do it, but this monster over here, if I got to get rid of this life. And actually, that'd be something good for Pulte that kind of help, because we literally go into an area, where you at? Okay, and we try to find somebody and connect them that will come and declutter for them and pack, stuff.
People don't know where to start.
No.
And they don't know what to do with the stuff. And sometimes it can be painful to go back and look at it. But my motto is, when in doubt, throw it out. So that's
I like that. Who had a previous client that said declutter or get rid of it?
No, it was Tom. We just he was just in here. He's actually living in Sun City, and he was with his kids. And he's like, I had these boxes for 10 years. And I never opened them. And then I was cleaning out my house before he moved here, because I asked him, I said, how was it like? And he's like, I just told my kids to throw it. And they're like, Dad, let's look at it. He's like, I don't want to look at it, because if I haven't opened it in 10 years, I'm going to open it and be like, oh, I should keep it. And then I'll So he just literally threw it all out. He didn't even look.
It's all just stuff.
And our other client that was there the same day, both from Sun City as well, she was like, just get rid of it. Just get rid of it. I knew when you come down here, just get rid of it.
You can you can take it from fear to excitement. You can kind of view it as, oh, I get to go buy new stuff. I get to kind of have a fresh start. I get to have the low country feel, right? Because the dark, all the furniture we all had growing up. Where'd you grow up?
Illinois.
Oh, Illinois. You said you're a northern guy, So you don't want to come down here. You want the coastal. You want to.
It's true.
Feel like you live on the coast.
And another thing too with new construction, that when you're talking about that fear, that anxiousness, Pulte builds an even flow, right? We only release a few lots at a time. We want our framers there at the same time, pouring foundations. That way we can get the construction off of your block. But it also is everyone's moving in together. All at the same time.
True. And they usually have a Facebook group.
Everyone's in the same boat. So you're scared, I'm scared, but we're here. It's really sounds corny a lot of the times, but it's like the college dorms freshman year. Everybody's moving in together.
That's right.
Find your little crew.
Well, after you've been here for a little while too, you'll realize that it's not. Some folks come here thinking that this is the last stop or something, and I'm here to tell you, it's a place that people come to extend years on their life.
That's right.
And just like we talked about early, David, folks will build more than one home, so it doesn't have to be like so much pressure on this one. I mean, I don't want you to build multiple homes if that's not your prerogative. But I mean, it's not the end. I mean, it's the beginning.
That's right.
The beginning of a new life.
And they get here and they just even Tom, he's discovering like, oh, you know what? Now that I know, it opens up more opportunities to you because you come in now. And also, I didn't even talk about this too. I feel like the location where you're located, there's a distinct advantage to it. And to me, especially if you're like a beach person or park, because one, you got two airports that are equal distance apart. You got 95 is what, 7, 8, 10 miles down the road.
Mhm.
So you got Maine to Miami right there on the highway if you want. You got multiple beaches, Hunting Island, Hilton Head, Ivy Island. I mean, what do you want to touch on that a little bit too about like just what do you have around you?
You
And
did a great job.
It's like Bluffton bubble, we call it, right?
Is that what you
This
call it?
perfect Bluffton bubble where, you can shoot out like spokes on a wheel. You can be in Savannah in a half hour. You can be at the
Yes.
airport in a half hour. You can be in Charleston in an hour and a half.
Yep.
Be in Jacksonville in 2.5 hours.
Mhm.
So there's all this perfection here with Old Town Bluffton and charm. Hilton Head Island, obviously right there.
Beaufort.
But you can stay here. But if you want to escape, here you go. You can go to all these great places in a very, very minimal amount of time.
Yeah.
Where some of these places where people retire to or move to, it's not that way. It's wonderful here, but then there's nothing out here, right? So this is ideal, but you still want some options.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it gives
we
you
get that a
options.
lot from people who move to a place and they're like, I love the community, but it was in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
There was nothing around me, and here you're right. You have everything. You have, in market arena, you got professional, sports there. You got theater, you got, everything.
That's what your whole podcast is about. It's a
Thank
whole.
Yeah.
We will touch on it
Thank
all.
you. Tap in on that. No, well, we really appreciate. You got anything else you want to add?
You guys, thank you so much.
Gosh, this was
Learned a lot of good stuff today. So hopefully our
how long are we sitting at on this?
too.
Hour and 22. I mean, that is like, this is the one-stop shop. Don't go anywhere else for Sun City Hilton Head. No, you guys did a great job. We really appreciate you coming out again.
Thank you. Spending your time with us,
And then we'll put your contact information usually in the description box and everything. But of course, if anybody's looking, your 2 favorite realtors here in the Lowcountry, we'd be happy to show you Sun City Hilton Head and work with this team here. We really enjoy it. So thank you again.
Thank you.
Cool.
Thanks,
Awesome.
guys.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Hair and makeup for this episode brought to you by Salon Celeste, where style meets sophistication. Let Victoria Gonzalez create a confident, radiant look with an expert cut, stunning color, or the perfect blowout. Book your appointment today.
Follow us on YouTube at Real Talk Hilton Head for more exclusive content.